Americans will ignore medical advice, financial advice, and basic common sense. Yet one teenager with a ring light whispers, "Trust me," and suddenly everyone's buying gadgets they can't pronounce. And somehow, the real chaos hasn't even started yet. 1. A suburban dad marched into a home goods store and bought a $400 countertop smart composter because a TikTok teen claimed it would turn leftovers into nutrient vapor. The device looked like a rice cooker that got rejected from Shark Tank, but the dad plugged it in anyway, thrilled to join the revolution. Instead of producing vapor, it produced smoke, actual smoke, because the machine's entire function was basically heating trash until it politely self-destructed. His family watched him frantically wave a dish towel at the beeping gadget while insisting it just needed to calibrate, the same way people insist their failing marriage is just a communication thing. By the end of the week, the composter was sitting in the garage like a burnt trophy of blind faith. Meanwhile, the TikTok creator had already moved on to promoting a new product, a $600 hydration-enhancing water bottle made of plastic so thin you could hear it losing hope each time someone squeezed it. 2. A teenager with eyeliner sharp enough to slice deli meat posted a video insisting that a certain neon-colored moisturizer would literally fix your entire life. And suddenly, half the country's adults were stampeding through Target like contestants in a post-apocalyptic beauty pageant. One woman bought 8 tubs because the algorithm told her she might run out. Despite the product being so fluorescent, it looked radioactive under normal lighting. She slathered it on daily with the confidence of someone applying ancient healing clay, only to discover her skin now glowed like a traffic cone at dusk. Strangers kept asking if she was training for a road safety commercial. Even worse, the product had a scent described by reviewers as watermelon mixed with hot asphalt. Naturally, when the TikTok teen later admitted they hadn't actually tested it and just liked the packaging, nobody blamed them. They blamed the lighting in their own bathroom, as if reality itself was responsible for the glowing citrus disaster spreading across their face. 3. A guy in his 20s spent $1,200 on a productivity helmet because a TikTok influencer swore it boosted focus using light-based neurological recalibration, which is influencer speak for "we glued LED strips inside a bicycle helmet." This man wore the device to his remote job meetings, claiming he experienced hyperclarity, which oddly coincided with the moments he forgot to unmute himself. His coworkers stared at the glowing dome like he had been recruited into a futuristic cult designed by teenagers who failed physics. After a week of use, the helmet overheated and left a ring-shaped burn on his forehead, giving him the appearance of someone recently abducted by very amateur aliens. The TikTok teen later posted a new video saying the helmet works best when used with the matching $600 focus gloves, which were essentially fingerless mittens with Bluetooth. The guy considered buying them too, proving once again that the human brain is no match for confident teenagers with ring lights. 4. A college freshman saw a TikTok claim that a specific crystal-infused humidifier would reset her aura and regulate her financial energy, which are phrases that should automatically trigger a refund. She bought 2 because, according to the TikTok teen, balance requires symmetry, and arranged them on her nightstand like mystical bookends. The humidifiers produced steam scented like birthday cake, which made her dorm smell like a bakery haunted by poor decisions. Her roommate said sleeping there felt like gradually suffocating inside a frosted cupcake. The girl insisted the devices were realigning her abundance pathways, but the only thing that got realigned was the fire alarm, which screeched at 3 a.m. after one humidifier spit boiling sugar-scented vapor directly at the ceiling sensor. By the time the RA arrived, the room looked like it had been hotboxed by a unicorn. Naturally, the TikTok teen updated the caption to, "Results may vary depending on local fire codes." 5. A man bought a vibrating metabolism belt, marketed by a TikTok teen as the silent weight loss revolution, which is ironic because the belt sounded like an off-brand blender trying to escape captivity. The man wore it everywhere, while cooking, while watching TV, even during a work call, where coworkers kept muting him because his torso was generating seismic activity. He genuinely believed he was supercharging his fat cells, even though the belt's instruction manual basically admitted it was just a glorified massage device. At one point, the belt vibrated so aggressively it shimmied upward like it was attempting to escape the situation entirely. His dog refused to sit near him, treating the belt like a territorial threat. After 3 weeks, he had lost 0 pounds but gained a new appreciation for how many household items can fall off shelves when the human body turns into a vibrating platform. Meanwhile, the TikTok teen posted a sequel video promoting the advanced model with stronger vibration settings, ensuring more shelves would suffer nationwide. 6. A woman ordered a $280 anti-anxiety candle, originally hyped by a teen who claimed it contained NASA-level aroma technology. What she actually unboxed was a candle large enough to qualify as a hazard, mixed with a scent described as lavender dipped in gasoline. She lit it anyway, hoping for cosmic tranquility, but instead the flame roared to life like it had unresolved anger issues. Her smoke detector immediately entered cardiac arrest mode. She tried to blow the candle out, but the flame fought back with the confidence of a Marvel villain. When she finally extinguished it using a pot lid, the wax solidified into a crater that resembled a failed science fair volcano. Her house smelled like a floral arson attempt for the rest of the week. The TikTok teen later updated their video saying, "Only light half the wick," which is helpful advice unless you've already summoned a miniature sun into your living room. 7. A teenager convinced thousands of people to buy a hydration tracking spoon, which was just a metal spoon with an LED that blinked every time it touched liquid. One man used it religiously, logging every sip into a hydration app as if preparing for the Olympics of water consumption. The spoon blinked cheerfully each time he stirred his coffee, convincing him he was achieving peak wellness, even though caffeine is basically hydration's evil twin. He bragged to coworkers about mastering fluid optimization, while the spoon's cheap LED flickered like it resented being part of this nonsense. The final blow came when he accidentally dropped the spoon in the dishwasher and the LED shorted out, leaving the utensil smoking like it had fought its last battle. Crushed, he waited for the TikTok teen to post a troubleshooting tutorial, only to see a new video promoting a spiritual hydration mug for triple the price. 8. A woman sprinted into a pet store after a TikTok teen claimed that a certain emotional support fish tank improved sleep quality through aquatic energy stabilization. She bought a full setup: tank, gravel, filter, and fish, despite having the track record of someone who once killed a succulent. The TikTok teen said the tank should sit next to the bed for maximum energy absorption, which is ideal unless you enjoy sleeping without constant bubbling noises that sound like a swamp contemplating rebellion. Within days, the fish were stressed. The filter hummed like a broken air conditioner, and she was waking up hourly to check whether her new therapy fish looked spiritually aligned. Eventually, one fish jumped out of the tank, presumably trying to escape the vibes. After posting about it online, the TikTok teen replied, "That means your energy is shifting," which is a poetic way of saying the fish wanted out more than she wanted calmness. 9. A guy bought a $160 magnetic wealth bracelet after watching a teen influencer claim it boosted your credit score by aligning your financial aura. The bracelet looked like something gifted with a gas station incense burner, but he wore it with missionary zeal, convinced his bank account would bloom like a time-lapse flower video. He strutted into his bank to apply for a new credit card, tapping the bracelet theatrically like it was a magical ATM password. Unsurprisingly, the bank declined him instantly. He walked out blaming the negative energy of the building, as if Chase Bank itself were sabotaging his aura. Later, the bracelet snapped during a workout, sending the magnetic beads scattering across the gym floor like financial confetti. The TikTok teen responded to his complaint by saying, "The bracelet breaks when the universe knows you're ready for abundance," which is a beautifully convenient explanation for defective elastic. 10. A middle-aged man purchased a $500 algorithm-friendly wardrobe, curated by a TikTok teen who described the clothes as psychologically optimized for success. The package arrived with garments shaped like futuristic potato sacks, oversized, beige, and aggressively shapeless. The man wore one outfit during an important online meeting, believing the muted tones would subconsciously signal leadership. Instead, he appeared on camera like he had been kidnapped by minimalist furniture designers. His boss asked if he was renovating his house, since he blended in perfectly with the drywall. Even his dog didn't recognize him and barked until he changed shirts. Weeks later, he discovered the clothing shrank dramatically in the wash, transforming into distressed crop tops that violated laws of physics and office dress codes. The TikTok teen then announced a new algorithm-boosted collection in neon colors. proving that the real psychological optimization was convincing adults to fund their experimental fashion whims. 11. A woman bought a $300 scent diffuser, touted by a TikTok teen as the key to manifesting emotional clarity. The device puffed out clouds like a tiny steam engine having an existential crisis. She placed it on her desk, believing the aroma, described as vanilla with notes of ambition, would help her focus. Instead, her office began smelling like a cupcake trying to negotiate a promotion. Co-workers kept wandering in, confused, assuming someone was baking. The diffuser had a habit of releasing giant fragrance bursts at random intervals, making people jump like they were under attack by a dessert-themed ghost. After a few days, the smell clung to her clothes so intensely that strangers complimented her on her bakery aesthetic. She tried turning off the diffuser, but it continued to puff weakly, as if it had grown emotionally attached to over-perfuming her workspace. The TikTok teen later said the model was still in beta, which is influencer code for "we didn't test it." 12. A man bought a self-watering indoor plant pot because a TikTok teen promised it required zero gardening knowledge, which is every plant's final cry for help. The pot had a sensor that blinked green when the plant was happy and red when it was dying, essentially a horticultural mood ring. The man placed it near a window that received approximately 4 minutes of sunlight per day and proudly declared himself a plant dad. The pot blinked red constantly, turning his living room into a miniature emergency scene. He watered the plant excessively, thinking the sensor was having a bad day, until the soil resembled a swamp reenactment. Eventually, the plant gave up entirely, folding over like it was fainting in protest. The pot, however, continued blinking red, not for the plant, but for his decision-making skills. When he contacted the TikTok teen for support, they replied with a cheerful, "Try singing to it," which would have helped about as much as offering therapy to a drowning fern. 13. A woman purchased a $250 digital breathing coach, a small device that clipped to her clothing and vibrated when she wasn't breathing optimally, according to a TikTok teen who insisted it retrained the lungs. The gadget vibrated constantly, either because she wasn't breathing correctly or because it was malfunctioning like an overstressed pager from the 90s. Her coworkers thought she was receiving secret spy messages, while she tried to explain she was simply learning to inhale, something she had apparently been doing wrong her entire life. The vibrations were so disruptive they made her spill coffee twice, and one coworker asked if she was trying to communicate with ghosts. When she contacted customer service, they said the device requires emotional calibration, which is a very poetic way of saying it needed a firmware update. The TikTok teen later posted an upgrade, the Pro version, which vibrated even more frequently, because of course that was the solution. 14. A guy bought a noise-canceling meditation cube, promoted by a TikTok teen who described it as a portable tranquility generator. The cube was supposed to block out environmental noise, but in reality, it emitted a faint hum that resembled a distant refrigerator. He held it during stressful moments at work, which made him look like he was clutching a high-tech paperweight for emotional support. His coworkers kept asking if it was a tracking device, a speaker, or a very disappointed robot. The cube occasionally heated up, giving his palm the sensation of holding a mildly irritated hamster. Despite this, he claimed it was helping him center his focus, though everyone noticed he flinched every time the cube buzzed. When he complained to the TikTok teen, they said the cube responds to intention, which is a charming way of blaming the customer for the cube behaving like a malfunctioning kitchen appliance. 15. A woman bought a $350 sleep training headset after a TikTok teen swore it reprogrammed your dreams for success. The headset resembled a pair of headphones that had been flattened by a steamroller. She wore it to bed expecting gentle affirmations. Instead, the device blasted glitchy audio that sounded like a motivational speaker trapped inside a broken vending machine. Her dreams did not become more productive. Instead, she repeatedly dreamt of being chased through a mall by malfunctioning escalators. Her partner begged her to stop using it because the device occasionally announced "sleep optimized" at full volume at 3 in the morning, like a robot drill sergeant. After a week, she woke up with a permanent dent across her forehead, shaped exactly like the device's plastic band. When she questioned the TikTok teen, they claimed the dent was evidence of neural engagement, which is technically true if you define engagement as mild forehead compression caused by plastic. 16. A middle-aged office worker proudly hauled home a smart posture wand, because a TikTok teen claimed it would retrain the spinal aura. The wand was basically a plastic ruler with delusions of grandeur, designed to buzz whenever the user slouched. She clipped it to her shirt and strutted around like someone reenacting an inspirational productivity montage, completely unaware that the wand was vibrating not because of bad posture, but because its sensor was cheaply assembled and confused by gravity. During a company meeting, the device panicked and buzzed nonstop, making her look like she was smuggling an anxious cicada. She tried discreetly pressing it to silence the vibrations, but that only triggered posture correction mode, which meant the wand began emitting cheerful beeps as though celebrating her structural collapse. By the end of the day, her back hurt. Her co-workers were concerned she had joined a cult of electronic stick worship, and the TikTok teen had already posted an upgraded model that required 2 wands for symmetrical spinal enlightenment, which is influencer code for doubling the profit margin. 17. A man enthusiastically purchased a gourmet air fryer spice mist after a TikTok teen insisted it transformed any meal into elevated cuisine. The mist bottle looked suspiciously like a repurposed spray tan applicator, but that didn't stop him from coating everything, from chicken wings to toast to a regrettable bowl of oatmeal with a synthetic aroma described as smoke-adjacent. His kitchen soon smelled like a barbecue hosted inside a malfunctioning vape shop. The spray created such an aggressive haze that his smoke detector, exhausted by years of false alarms, finally gave up and detached itself from the ceiling. His family begged him to stop scenting their meals like a campfire that failed a drug test, but he remained loyal to the TikTok teen's culinary philosophy until the bottle clogged and shot a spicy jet stream directly into his eye. When he checked the influencer's page for guidance, the teen had moved on to promoting a seasoning wand that required waving aromatics over the air fryer like a priest blessing a confused appliance. 18. A woman rushed to order a DNA-activated skincare serum after a TikTok teen claimed it wakes up your ancestral glow. The serum arrived in a dropper bottle shaped like a miniature chemistry experiment, which should have been the first red flag. She applied it religiously, convinced she was activating ancient beauty codes hidden deep within her mitochondria. Instead, the serum caused her skin to tingle aggressively, giving her the expression of someone pretending to enjoy a bad date while slowly dissolving. One side effect was unexpected. The serum smelled exactly like wet cardboard, which she forgave because the TikTok teen promised the scent meant it was working through generational trauma. After a week, her face broke out in patterns so geometric they could have been used to teach trigonometry. She emailed the brand, only to receive a cheerful automated reply reminding her that purging is part of the journey, which is a corporate way of saying the serum was basically spicy water in fancy packaging. 19. A college student bought a motivation orb after watching a TikTok teen dramatically place one on their desk and announce it radiated hustle energy. The orb was simply a plastic sphere that lit up when tapped, but the student believed it possessed the kind of spiritual authority normally reserved for ancient relics. He touched the orb every morning before studying, hoping to unlock academic brilliance. But instead, he spent most days staring at the glowing sphere like a moth contemplating life choices. His roommates began calling it the productivity disco ball because it pulsed random colors whenever it overheated, which was often. One night, the orb flickered violently and emitted a sad electronic whine before going dark forever, leaving him heartbroken, as if his imaginary mentor had resigned. When he returned to the influencer's page, he discovered the teen declaring the original orb too energetically pure for mass production, while promoting a new premium orb that cost triple and glowed in 12 colors nobody asked for. 20. A woman impulsively purchased a digital pet plant recommended by a TikTok teen who promised it was an emotional support garden in your pocket. The device was a tiny screen showing a pixelated sprout that wilted if she didn't water it by tapping a button. She carried it everywhere, nurturing it with the intensity normally reserved for newborns. Unfortunately, the sprout was programmed with the emotional stability of a Victorian child and died dramatically every time she forgot it for more than 30 minutes. She spent entire evenings resurrecting it like a horticultural necromancer. Her friends begged her to touch grass, literally and figuratively, but she insisted the digital plant understood her energy better than real plants. Eventually, the device froze permanently during a simulated rainstorm, leaving her trapped on the loading screen of grief. The TikTok teen later posted a new version with Weather DLC because nothing heals disappointment like paying extra for pixelated thunderstorms. 21. A man purchased a magnetic cooking wand after a TikTok teen declared it would restructure flavors on a molecular level. The wand looked like a regular kitchen utensil wearing a superhero costume, but he waved it over every pot with the seriousness of a wizard performing culinary spells. He claimed his soup felt more confident and insisted the wand improved his pasta's personality. His dinner guests politely nodded while wondering if he had joined a secret society of utensil enthusiasts. Eventually, the wand's cheap battery compartment popped open mid-stir, launching the batteries directly into the pot like culinary torpedoes. He fished them out and insisted the soup tasted electrically awakened, which is one interpretation of ingesting battery water. When he checked the influencer's page, the teen had already introduced a dual wand set for advanced flavor alchemy, implying the real flaw wasn't the wand, it was that he only bought one. 22. A woman bought a brainwave aligning headband from a TikTok teen who claimed it synchronizes your thoughts with your goals. The headband's design suggested its creators had only seen science in cartoons, but she wore it faithfully each morning. It emitted tiny beeps meant to indicate mental calibration, though the beeps mostly resembled low battery warnings from forgotten remote controls. She strutted through her apartment wearing the headband like a motivational tiara, declaring herself in sync with the universe. However, the headband misinterpreted normal human activities as cognitive dissonance, causing it to beep wildly whenever she opened the fridge or looked at her phone. Her cat fled the room whenever she approached, understandably concerned about the sentient forehead noise machine. One day, the headband overheated and left a warm stripe across her hairline, giving her the aesthetic of someone headbutting a toaster. The influencer later claimed overheating meant the device was too powerful for some people, which is a poetic way of dodging a recall. 23. A guy added a productivity aquarium to his desk after a TikTok teen insisted that tiny fish enhanced executive function. The aquarium came with fish so small they looked like punctuation marks with anxiety. He swore their swimming patterns helped him focus, though his co-workers noticed he spent more time staring blankly at the tank than actually working. The filter hummed with the existential dread of an overworked office appliance, adding a soothing yet suspicious ambiance. One tragic day, the aquarium's decorative plastic castle collapsed, causing a miniature landslide that sent the fish into chaos. The guy interpreted this as a metaphor for his work-life balance, which was technically correct, but deeply unhelpful. When he checked the influencer's page for emotional support, the TikTok teen had already launched a meditation aquarium upgrade kit, featuring glow-in-the-dark gravel to illuminate your path, as if fluorescent rocks could solve existential despair. 24. A woman purchased a dream-capturing bedside beacon after a TikTok teen claimed it could record your subconscious patterns. The beacon was a nightlight shaped like a crystal that pulsed softly as though breathing. She slept next to it with the devotion of someone waiting for extraterrestrial contact. The device collected zero dreams, of course, unless her subconscious consisted solely of faint humming noises. The app paired with the beacon displayed blurry, meaningless blobs it called dream signatures, which she proudly showed friends as if unveiling MRI results from a psychic. One morning, the beacon glitched and recorded 11 straight hours of static, which the app described as profound emotional turbulence. She spent the next week trying to interpret what it meant, while the TikTok teen posted an update saying the beacon works best with our premium intention journal, suggesting her subconscious required a subscription to function. 25. A man bought a thermal mood mug after a TikTok teen promised it revealed your emotional truth. The mug changed colors with heat, which is standard science, but he decided the shifting patterns were diagnostic tools for his psyche. If the mug turned blue, he claimed he was calm. If it turned red, he said he was processing intensity. His co-workers noticed it also turned red when he microwaved his coffee too long, suggesting his emotional truth was overcooked beverages. One day, the mug's coating malfunctioned, displaying all colors simultaneously like a caffeine-fueled pride parade. He interpreted this as a sign he was experiencing many dimensions of self-awareness, though it was far more likely he had simply washed the mug too aggressively. When he checked the influencer's page for guidance, the TikTok teen cheerfully announced a new, advanced mug that connects to Wi-Fi, proving the only dimension growing was the cost. 26. A woman purchased a quantum aroma pendant after a TikTok teen called it portable aromatherapy for elevated consciousness. The pendant was a small metal locket filled with scented beads that smelled like a candle store in an electrical fire. She wore it everywhere, convinced it sharpened her intuition. Her co-workers disagreed, noting the pendant simply released random scent bursts like a perfume grenade with timing issues. During an important meeting, it emitted a powerful wave of mystic sandalwood, causing her boss to ask if she had fought a tree in self-defense. She adjusted the pendant repeatedly, believing the scent intensity corresponded to her personal growth, even though the beads were dissolving from humidity. Eventually, the pendant rusted shut, trapping the final scent inside like a tiny olfactory time capsule. The TikTok teen then announced a refillable air purifying pendant, proving the only thing being purified was viewers' disposable income. 27. A guy enthusiastically purchased a sleep rhythm mat after a TikTok teen swore it trains your body to rest more efficiently. The mat buzzed rhythmically, supposedly syncing with his circadian cycles, though it mostly resembled a giant vibrating phone with boundary issues. He slept on it for several nights, waking each morning feeling like his spine had participated in a minor earthquake. His partner complained that the vibrations kept shaking the bed like an indecisive washing machine. When he contacted customer support, they suggested embracing the journey towards sleep mastery, which did nothing for his insomnia or the mat's persistent buzzing. Eventually, one corner overheated and melted slightly, leaving a shape on the floor resembling a topographical map of disappointment. Checking the influencer's page revealed a new model with eco-vibrations for sustainable rest, implying the old mat was killing the planet as well as his sleep. 28. A woman purchased a focus harmonica after a TikTok teen claimed blowing into it stimulated cognitive pathways. The harmonica produced soft, airy notes that sounded like a ghost sighing politely. She used it during work breaks, believing the vibrations sharpened her mind, though co-workers found the constant soft wheezing deeply unsettling. During a presentation, she accidentally inhaled sharply, producing a squeak so tragic it made her entire team wince. She insisted the sound was brain activation, which is one interpretation of auditory embarrassment. Over time, the harmonica accumulated condensation and began producing unpredictable noises, including a sharp honk that startled her cat so violently it knocked over a lamp. When she checked the influencer's comments for support, the teen announced a professional-grade focus flute coming soon, because nothing solves cognitive confusion like upgrading to a louder instrument. 29. A guy bought a kinetic clarity ring after a TikTok teen demonstrated how spinning it improved decision-making. The ring spun smoothly, giving him the illusion of wisdom every time he flicked it. He used it to choose everything, from what to eat for lunch to whether to respond to emails, essentially outsourcing adulthood to a piece of jewelry. One day, the ring spun off his finger and launched across the office, ricocheting off a co-worker's water bottle like a metal mosquito with ambition. He interpreted this as the ring asserting its guidance, while everyone else interpreted it as, "Please stop playing with that thing at work." Eventually, the spinning mechanism jammed, leaving the ring frozen mid-insight. The TikTok teen later claimed the jammed state represented clarity achieved, which is a poetic explanation for cheaply made accessories. 30. A woman proudly wore a light therapy necklace after a TikTok teen swore it balanced hormones by projecting subtle frequencies. The pendant emitted soft glows in colors that could best be described as mystically confused. She believed the necklace improved her mood, though her co-workers noted that any time it shifted to green, she became irritable, implying the device was more traffic light than therapy. One day, the light stuck on blinking yellow, signaling either caution or imminent battery death. She wore it anyway, insisting the blinking meant her energy was evolving rapidly, although it mostly indicated that cheap circuitry was losing the will to live. That night, the pendant overheated and burned a small hole in her sweater, adding a literal spark to her spiritual journey. The influencer later updated the product listing to mention, "Safe operation temperatures may vary," which is a corporate way of saying sweaters are not refundable. 31. A man purchased a mindset metronome after a TikTok teen explained that rhythmic ticking aligned ambition with discipline. The metronome ticked loudly enough to resemble an impatient woodpecker trapped inside a clock factory. He placed it on his desk, believing it would transform him into a productivity machine, though it mostly transformed his co-workers into people considering relocation. The constant ticking made him work faster at first, then slower, then not at all as he became fixated on whether the metronome was judging him. One afternoon it accelerated suddenly, ticking at a frenetic pace like a caffeinated squirrel, which he interpreted as a sign to push harder, though the device was simply experiencing motor failure. Eventually it toppled off his desk entirely, ticking its way across the floor like a mechanical beetle seeking freedom. When he checked the influencers page, the TikTok teen had already introduced a silent ambition metronome, which defeated the entire purpose, but conveniently solved the noise complaints. And that's America, where a teenager with good lighting can bankrupt a nation. Drop your favorite disaster in the comments, vote for the dumbest, and brace yourself. This nonsense absolutely continues.